key. Was it that way? No. Oh, it's up here. This way.
Whoa! An abyss. Beware. There are some stakes at the bottom.
Whoa. There's a grill up there, look. Wow. It looks like we're going up in a spiral.
This door is extremely solid. No chance of forcing it. I am in need of something.
Right. What we got? Hammer? Will that do?
This door is... I am in need.
Key? Ah. Whoa.
Careful. I
Ah.
feel a presence.
I like the room. I love the decor. Look at that. Swords.
This book. It is as if it is protected by a demonic aura. I must unravel its secret.
Whoa. Oh, what happened there? Right. That one didn't do anything. No. No. It's not changing the colour. Oh. What if I swap it around again? There. What am I doing? Is there a... I'm not sure what I'm doing there.
It seems that I have not inspected everything.
Perhaps there's something else I can look at.
Count Dracula himself. The bed of the master, no doubt. The bed of the master, no doubt.
Can't put the cross in there then.
Castle Dracula. I am in the ultimate lair of the beast.
What? Anything over here can give us a clue to what we're supposed to be doing. Ah, what's that?
Ah, here is something interesting.
Ah, shapes. Right. You reckon we can go back to that thing now? Then have a bash.
This book.
Oh,
It is as if it is protected by a demonic aura. I must unravel its secret.
oh, cold. Can I take that? Where did it? Right, it's in the right place. Oh, careful not to move that one then. Aha. Get in there. Move those two. Right. These two. Let's have a bash. Ah! Nearly done. Right. Ah. Oh no, what happened? What happened with all the No! Damn it. I lost all the things. We'll get there in the end. So if I put that there, and put that there, I think I've got to get them all at the edge, right? Like that. Damn, I've done it again. No? Oh, I don't believe this. That's all there. Okay. You up there. But you over there. No idea. Um. Um. Try that.
Finally, I can access the pages of this damned book.
Aha!
But, hell's
Those
bells, it seems that the same man wrote the whole book over the course of many centuries.
What? Wow. Summer of the year of our Lord, 1477. I can no longer die. Of this I am certain. The strongest blows barely register. I almost feel pleasure to sense this paint reminiscence of my past glory. This morning one of Ivan's brothers in arms, who was absent from the banquet, came to the castle. He had heard from scoundrels the narration of events that had taken place in the evening of the banquet. He challenged me outside, but I begged him to enter, as the sunlight was blinding and the warmth burned to my hands. He declared that he wanted to do justice in the name of honour and in the name of God. He too called me a demon. I stared at him, miserable vermin in his polished armour. I felt his heart beating wildly, the tightening of his hand on his sword. He forced me to take a weapon. I told him it was my habit to discipline swine with my bare hands. His first blow seemed to be incredibly slow and gentle. This man must have weighed 200 pounds, and my hand barely moved back when I stopped his sword. He hit me again and again, while an indescribable euphoria grew in me, and I was surprised to whoop with laughter under his attack, and the hunger came as it had already come. I threw myself on him like wolves on cattle, and I crushed him between my hands. His heart was still beating as I became inebriated from his blood. It was better, yes, much better. December of the year 1477. But what have I become? An internal terror seizes me as I write these words. All is dark around me. All is cold. I am done. Infinity alone. I cry for hours on end. Alcohol, which I have engorged by the barrel, no longer has effect on me. My spirit gnawed away my memories that I cannot chase away. This image of her that I wanted to banish haunts me each instant. It's a curse. She would make of me what I have dreamed of being in my moments of anger. Only the creatures of the night hear my cries and can testify to my terror. I will soon slump into madness and will be the instrument of the demon inside me, the demon who denies my gaze when I search for it in the mirror, the demon who kisses me at the morning's glow and pushes me to nuzzle under the earth in the darkness. I am no longer human. I can sense it. Hunger comes when I think of the truly alive, and I cannot resist the intoxication that comes from appeasing this hunger, even as I contemplate its horror. I must write, put down onto these pages my history, so that the madness cannot make who I am, who I was, disappear. It was I who conquered this land, all of the warriors. I was the most ferocious and the most feared. I won impossible and decisive victories, leading to the deaths of hundreds of my comrades. At the mention of my name, my enemies trembled. At the sight of my banner they fled. This pagan land was conquered in the name of God, but in a way it had nothing to do with saintly beliefs. Entire villages burned. Rows bordered with cadavers hanging from gallows, hundreds of erect stakes dripping with blood like wine from a press. Children, women, elders, and so many lambs were sacrificed in these wars of terror. Everywhere the fetid odour of decaying carrion mixed with that nauseating stench of burning human flesh. Bloated, bent, broken bodies eaten by worms, and so much blood. Victory in these lands comes to he who shows the most determination in the face of the horrors and atrocities, he who is first to instil a supernatural terror in the enemy, regardless of the price. And it was me. Thus came peace, but certain men aren't made for peace. I had them come and stay in my castle, the knights who had fought at my side, as well as their families. In this devastated land, it was the only dignified residence for those brave warriors and their noble dames. It was then I saw her, Irina, the daughter of one of my comrades who had died on the battlefield. She was everything. I saw nothing of her but her. She suffused the castle with an enchanting light and warmth. Each of her steps was a dance, her voice the whisper of a soul. Her beauty transformed the world, transformed people. She was, at the same time, the ultimate happiness and the most destructive suffering. When I had to stand next to her without being able to kiss her, embrace her, and make her mine. Thus my court was started, propelled by a total and sincere love. But voices came to her, voices that recounted the war and its battles, that recounted the villages burned with pleasure, the abominable tortures performed under my command, that recounted the hundreds of innocents decapitated in a move of anger, that recounted foremost my cruel laughter in this bloodbath. Despite my efforts to make her share my passion, I was greeted with a coldness marked with disgust. Mostly, I wanted to show her the light of love in the depths of my eyes. Mostly, she saw the blackness of death. And then he came, beautiful and blazing, with this handsome shield and legendary artifact. My young cousin, Ivan, rejoining us after the battle and turning the heads of the ladies with each step. Generous and likeable, he shone in peacetime as I had once made him do during wartime. They were inseparable. He held her arm, she called him my lordship. He praised God and she drank his words. But hadn't I also served God? Hadn't I risked death 1,000,000 times for his glory? It is to this puppet that God gave the right to charm my beloved, my only one, in his name. Thus I disavowed God and his holy hypocrisy. In these formerly pagan lands, substituted rites to which I secretly initiated myself, I disavowed God from the depths of my soul and swore to combat his defenders with 10 times more vigour than ever his enemies. The thirst for vengeance grew in me. I felt myself becoming a beast. The castle's inhabitants looked at me with growing fear, my foul temper having much to do with it. I began to whip clumsily servants, or those who tarried and carried out my orders. My brothers-in-arms turned from me. Next came the marriage announcement that threw me into the abyss. Ivan and Irina announced their engagement, held the previous eve in secrecy, and their imminent wedding. Everyone present applauded the news, and I felt the mocking and condescending looks drift over me. The inevitable lot of the spurned lover. At that point, right in front of my eyes, the red veil of anger and blood fell. I managed nonetheless to contain my despair and fury, and invited the whole court to a great banquet to be given the next day in honour of the would-be wedded couple. I retired then, and during all of the preparations, I was convulsed with pain and hatred, alone in my chamber to cultivate my fury. When the evening came, In the absence of Varina, who had left to put on a dress that I had previously offered, I proposed a toast at the banquet table, having taken care to order the servants to leave the hall and to allow only the guests of noble lineage to remain. As the knights and dames, all without exception, raised their goblets to their lips, I began a speech of the hypocrisy of their supposed god and of their similar villainy. How did they dare pray while the wine that they drank came from the land soiled by the blood of innocents, massacred in the name of God? How dare they laugh at me, the lord of this castle? I, who nourished them and who had won them a life of affluence in troubled times. None answered. The drug that I obtained from a local hag and poured into the goblets had paralysed them, although they could still see and hear perfectly. Only my cup and that of Ivan had been spared. He sprang up and demanded my repentance. I laughed in the face of this buffoon as he clamoured with the kind of hate that I had experienced after he stole my loved one. My emotions, contained for so long and so deeply, exploded. I bounded across the room and threw myself onto my rival like a savage beast. My hands clasped his, but his ardour and the force of his conviction began to make me lose my grip. It was thus that I sealed my demonic pact with blood. With all the strength of my denial of God and his children, I threw my jaws into the assault of my adversary's neck. I plunged my canines deeply into his flesh and binged on the vital liquid as the predator feeds from its prey. An unnatural intoxication overtook me as the grasp on my arms released. I couldn't bring myself to tear away from this crimson fountain from which I imbibed. When the sauce dried up, I separated myself from this pale carcass and stood up, my face stained with scarlet trails, and turned euphoric towards my other guests, rigid and feverish. I was then overcome with visions of stakes, gallows, and decapitations. Arming myself with the sword leaning against my chair, I jumped on the table and began a dance of death, in which each of my twirls was greeted by a fountain of blood coming from the necks which my sword liberated from their thus forth superfluous heads. Undoubtedly attracted by my shrieks of laughter, Arino entered the hall and witnessed the scene. I attempted to explain that my infinite love for her was the source of everything, that this spectacular and unimaginable horror was the proof. She was determined not to hear me and fled up the stairs above the dungeon. I pursued her while proclaiming my love. When I caught up with her on the crenulated roof, in the feeble glow of the moon, she screamed into the wind all of the hatred she felt for me that I could not respond to but with words of love. As I stepped forward and finally claimed my prize, she threw herself into the void, into the mist that masked the cliffs encircling the castle. I sunk to the ground, divided between an incredible force that I felt growing inside me and the sadness of an unfathomable black pit into which I fell, body and soul, and which with jealousy and hatred I had dug myself. April the 16th, 1877. It is incredible. After centuries of sadness and resignation, hope has been reborn in me. I feel the palpitations of love take possession of my spirit. The phantom memory of my adored darling that I searched in vain through evil pleasures and impossible flirtations, I can now see in my mind and contemplate with delight. All of these readings, expenses, assassinations and tactics have not been in vain. There is a way to bring Arana back to me. My zealous serpents scoured Europe in search of the slightest indication, of the smallest rumour of the most recent scientific works. I consolidated all of this knowledge and by accumulating treatises and works, and this work yields today. All these centuries I thought to myself to be the first to be abandoned to evil. I thought that the world had never known a soul as black as mine. But ancient works have now taught me that in remote Egypt, centuries before Christ and his courtyard of refuge, a cult venerated damned gods. Given to the priests by the very mouth of the god's messenger, was the secret to unspeakable rights and power over the void. Supposedly, a terrible incantation would have the power to bring back to earth all of the damned souls. And given herself to death and being deprived of a burial spot, Arana damned herself and roams in the void. Her place is by my side. I must liberate her. Bring her back to me, even if I release 1,000,000 damned souls onto the earth. The cult's black secrets will be hidden in the tomb of the great priest who awaits in non-death. I must find the location of his tomb. May 17th, 1887. According to my subordinates, the colonial wars would have served to unearth numerous secrets in far-off Egypt. This region is still under British control, and the treasures are brought to London in order to be studied by scholars. It is perhaps there that is found the information that I seek, but I do not know this world. I must move my pawns in order to prepare my arrival. In the interim, I must classify all of my precious works, as there may be some clues in the books that I have read 300 years ago. July the 21st, 1898. Black luck doesn't stop smiting on me. As I struggle to inform myself on the customs of faraway England, the librarian who arrived to classify my works turned out to be English. I asked him 1,000 questions, to which he answered in a precise and elaborate manner. I undertook all of the necessary preparations to welcome in the greatest comfort to the castle, and I imagine that his stay here will be long. The man seems strangely ill at ease. His pulse beats abnormally quickly, and I feel his eyes fixed on me at each instant. Perhaps people from the West are weaker and more easily influenced than those of our rough like. At the end of our discussion, a miracle. He spoke of his betrothed who remains in England, and I asked if he had a photograph of her. He showed me the one which he keeps with him. At the first sight of this diaphanous face, I understood that the presence of this man was a gift from the damned gods. The incredible beauty of this young girl rekindled in me the memory of my past life, and I must at all cost find her. It isn't a caprice like my other flirtations. No, I know that henceforth this Mina is matchless, the only one worthy to receive the passion, the energy, the soul of Arina. I must possess her, have her in my power, guard her purity, all while breaking her spirit. She will be the receptacle and forever the object of an insane love. As for this Harker, I will compensate him by giving him immortality and making him one of my children. Now, nothing further can stop my great undertaking. In 1 week I depart for London. September the 8th, 1898. It is my last evening in the capital of the world. What wonders I have seen since my arrival in London. This new world is so different from my own, but I cannot delay. The second phase of my great undertaking will begin. I succeeded in finding the location of the demonicon of Willingy, the cursed text that contains a secret rite permitting me to bring my beloved back to me. The tomb is located not far from Cairo, and everything is in place there to receive me and permit me to act promptly. My subordinate has worked well. It's rare for a human. At nightfall, I will find my Mina in order to pay my homage. I am anxious to taste her warmth, smell the perfume of her hair, the caress of her breath. I burn with impatience like a lover before his first tryst. I am also anxious to bring this beautiful young girl back with me to speak the forbidden words. Nothing will stop me from bringing Arina back, and if, at the same time, I liberate a swarm of damned, demented souls, will it not be a wonderful spectacle to see the torrents of blood that will flow around the world when these Avenging spirits annihilate the human race. Wow. There. Okie dokie.
Damnation, Mina! He must be with her at this moment. I was not able to save Harker, but I cannot lose her. I must get to her as soon as possible. I hear someone coming this way. It must be the butler. Quick, run!
Run, run.